mind sharing what the plan is for Wednesday in terms of rotations? Who's going to play, who's not going to play, if you have that plan at all?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to play. Not sure how much, like our starters may just play the first half. We'll figure it out when we get a little closer. Still got another practice tomorrow, but we want to make sure, because everybody's busted their behind, and we want to make sure everybody gets a chance to be on the floor, especially for our home game here in front of our fans.
How much do they want to play against another opponent other than themselves, do you feel like right now?
It's interesting. Our group has been pretty competitive amongst each other, so far. And so I know they want to face another Jersey. They're excited about that, especially seeing games on TV. But it's still been pretty lively and gets a little chippy every once in a while, but the competitive nature or competitive spirit is still there, and that's what you like to see. And so as long as that happens, we can have a few more practices.
From a day-to-day standpoint, does this week, when you mix in preseason tests, does this week start to look a little different than the previous?
It does, because obviously last week we had, I think two-a-days. I think it was last week. I think this is the second week we're in. So, we're not having any more two-a-days. That's the biggest thing. And then, you got to also be prepared to have a couple of shoot-arounds. We haven't had any shoot-around type practices yet. And so there's some different things that start to resonate or make you start to realize that the season is fast approaching.
This is your first opportunity, these preseason games, to kind of test what you've been working on, just like from a logistical standpoint. How, if certain things don't work, how often do you stick with certain things versus scrap certain things or adjust certain things? Do you make those kind of decisions in this preseason, or just ride out with what you got throughout it?
No, you make adjustments, but it's throughout the course of the year. Like, you don't want to give up on anything too early, because the guys are still feeling their way through what we're trying to teach them. And so some of it may look bad because we're not necessarily running hard enough, or we're thinking a little too much. It's like, should I go this way or that way? Oh shoot, I should go this way, and that's too late. That messes with the flow of the offense. And same defensively. Am I in the best shift position? Should I shift a little more? Okay, my guy's already cut back door, and now that starts a domino effect. So, you have to have some patience with the group and individuals as the preseason group goes along. And that's that's what I'm saying. That's what my whole thing about climbing together. You're doing it together. Some guys can climb a little faster than others, but you got to remember, we're all roped in together. We're a team, so we can't take off and leave the group. We can stay together. And then there are going to be times when we take a couple of steps backwards. And if we take too many steps backwards, then it's time to sit back and reevaluate. Okay, why aren't we getting this done? Do we need to change the technique here? Do we need to scrap it all together? I don't know, but it's a little bit of a process.
If I remember,
where are we at with injuries, and like how close are some of these guys getting to being back, and how much has that impacted your training camp, not having all those guys around?
The first thing is, that's part of the reason why you have 21. So we've had more than enough bodies to do what we needed to do. It stinks from the standpoint that, a guy like Trey is missing reps. A guy like O, who's playing really well, is missing reps. And same with J-Mac and Kev. Those guys are missing reps. And so they're going to be a little bit behind. They can sit and watch all they want. They can even get to a point where they're allowed to go through non-contact stuff, wearing a red jersey and all that other stuff. But there's nothing that can simulate live activity and trying to do whatever you're taught in a drill live. And you take it a step further. Now you're doing it on Wednesday. You're doing it live. Plus, you're doing it against another team with fans in the stands. And so it's hard from that standpoint. But everybody's progressing well from the injury standpoint, in my opinion.
Any change with Herder? Has he gone to 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, any of that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. He's doing non-contact stuff right now.
With having to eventually cut that 21 down to 18, what are you kind of just looking for when you have to eventually make those decisions, and how important are those final spots?
There's a lot. You're looking for fit, and what do we need, and can this player grow, whatever, and so if you're trying to get if you're trying to get down to the nitty gritty, you want guys that do the small things. We're a team that likes the offensive rebound, so if somebody's in that crash position, are they going to give the effort to crash every time and get a hand on the ball? That is a unique skill set that not many guys can do. A lot of guys can do it 50% of the times. Most guys can do it 75% of the time. Not many people could crash 100% of the time, putting that pressure on the defense and trying to get your hand on the ball. So that's a skill set that we're looking for. We're looking for guys that every possession, again, everybody says they want to run, but it's hard to run for 48 minutes. Trust me. And play defense the way we want to play defense. So we're looking for guys that will run the floor extremely hard every single possession to put pressure on the defense and to open up that floor for a guy like Fox, who's the fastest in the league. We're looking for guys that are going to hit somebody on the defense end of the floor, but do it without sending them to the free throw line. So having that physicality, having that presence, being able to communicate all the time at a high level. So those small things are the details are some of the details that we're talking about, trying to excel in and focus on right now with our guys, because if we need a bucket, we got guys that can go get a bucket now, and we can be ready to catch and shoot. Off of those guys. I don't need anybody to go out there and do too much. With the movement we have in our offense, with the passing, with the willing passers we have, with our offense, all that stuff's going, in my opinion, in time, be great. But those little details that are hard to do on every single possession to alleviate some of the pressures off of Tomas and Fox and DeMar, those things are what we're looking for in guys that can help make them special, which at the end of the day may make us special.
Sounds like you've been seeing some of that.
We have. We charted crashes in the scrimmage that we had on Saturday, and you look at a guy like Isaac Jones. I think he was, first of all, he was like 4 for 5 from the three, but they were all catch and shoot shots where he got to his spot, the floor was spaced, the ball got kicked to him or sprayed to him, and he took the right shot in rhythm. That was great, but more importantly, I think he had 11 opportunities to crash, and he crashed all 11 times and came up with some big rebounds. One time he crashed, got the rebound, sprayed it, relocated, had his feet set in the corner, the ball found him again, and he knocked down a three, all in one possession. So when you have players that are going to bring something special like that to the table, for me and the rest of the staff, that's eye-opening. And so we've had some guys do some things in our practices that just make you go, okay, maybe, maybe. So you got to keep making me say maybe before I can say yes.
With
I
that,
say maybe a lot.
with that offensive rebound you've been emphasizing, obviously grabbing the board itself has its value, but
Yeah.
what value do you see in just going in there and kind of being able to tip the ball around?
It gives us a chance. Not only that, it slows their breakdown. So if you go and get your hand on it, now everybody on their team's probably coming back to try to come up with it, and now they're not getting out in transition, and who knows what can happen if you get your hand on it. We come up with it, you can hit it and it can go off somebody's leg, and now it's our ball out of bounds. There are a lot of good things, and then on top of that, I tell our guys, it's just like running. If you do something every single time, it's like, think back when you go play pickup, and there's always that one dude in the gym that's just right up in your face the whole time. And, pretty soon you want to just be like, get off me, You want to just, or you're just going to be like, you know what, I don't even have time for this. It ain't that serious. And you go kind of quit without really quitting. So, you can take somebody's heart, or you can impose your will on somebody just by being consistent, doing it every single time. And crashing is one of them, just like running the floor. I tell a guy, if you run and get to the corners, that floor is going to just do like that. And when the floor does that, because you got to be guarded, you got a guy like Fox coming down, and who going to stop him in transition after a make or miss if we're in our spots and he's got all that space to be able to attack. So you do it every single time, or get used to doing it every single time, which is hard again. I'm not saying it's easy. And pretty soon you're going to be imposing your will on people, and they're going to quit just because you're imposing your will to do the small things.
Mike, if I remember correctly, I think the bell over there was rung after drawing charges. Is there anything specific that you guys are doing for crashing the offensive glass or anything like that to encourage that?
Well, so today when we played, we gave +2 points to a team that got an offensive rebound. So if I'm on defense, that meant I'm gonna box you out, because I'm not gonna let you get the offensive rebound, because then we lose 2 points on the board. I think our black team won a drill because within that drill they had like 5 offensive rebounds. I don't think they made a bucket, but they got 5 offensive rebounds, and we want to show our guys that, hey, if you win the possession game, you're gonna give yourself a chance to win while getting stops. Now you can't think you're going to get 20 offensive rebounds and no stops and think you're going to win. But if you get stops like you're capable of, and you offensive rebound, you come up with the loose balls, you come up with all those types of things, you're going to give yourself, make free throws, get to the free throw line, limit them from getting there, you're going to give yourself a chance to win. And that was proven today with the black team in this particular drill. I don't even think they made a bucket, but winning the drill because they came up with 4 or 5 offensive rebounds throughout the course of the drill.
Is Luke having to hold at least one guy back to make sure not all 5 crash, or is Luke allowing all 5 to crash?
So we have crash zones, and we have our crash zone out on the floor. We talked about that. I'm not going to talk about it on camera, but we talked about that. I don't know if you were here, of where the crash zones is, and if you're in that area, you gotta go. You gotta go, and we'll figure out the transition afterwards, because we actually think it helps us in transition defense.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.